What's going on, guys? Tune in here for a Thursday late afternoon session. You know the routine. We're going to wait a few moments and start chatting it up. Let me know if you guys can hear me. The audio is all good to go. Obviously, we had Christmas holidays. Hopefully, everyone had a good time. Got some new toys and we're getting it built up and ready for New Year's. Sweet. We got Brian Lukovich in the house, Dave, Mark, Wayne's in here. Looking like audio is good to go. Got my grapes. Kind of hungry. Didn't really eat a full lunch. Looks like we're getting some good people joining in. You know you got good grapes when you like put it in and it like snaps. Costco. Tony's asking who paints my body shells. Larry Genova. He's been painting my body since day one. Probably one of the best painters out there. Definitely very professional on his lines and stuff. So I'm super stoked what Larry does for me and so appreciated of him getting them done so fast. Bruce, Chinese buffet. So looks like we got some people joining in. Gonna be going through December, the kind of December's download. Brent behind the scenes is working on some 2 setup sheets. One from the dirt the track in Paris is where the Dirt Nitro Challenge is going to be or has been for the last couple of years. Working on getting that setup sheet posted on the Team Associated page and the website. So he'll let me know when that is posted. He'll probably share it in the link on the live session. For you guys who are asking about some 8-scale. That's basically my generic 8-scale setup that I've been running for the last few months now. I think it's a great baseline given on some outdoor loose tracks, medium high bite tracks, and also like the race time events indoor style. I think it's been really great. You know, some of the key things I said in the last previous videos talking about some of the diff gears, LTC gears front and rear, and HTC center. I know a lot of guys locally here in Arizona starting to come into that kind of setup window that roughly what I'm running. And it's been super, super fun to drive. So for the most part, that's what I ran at AMS was basically my last 8-scale date, 8-scale outing, I guess, for racing wise. And then we went out to Paris. Me and Mayfield went out there, did some practicing and running, saw some guys out there, had some fun, and enjoyed ourselves and ran a ton. So for those who are here in the chat currently, have any 8-scale questions, 10-scale questions, just get it out there. I will go back, scroll through from the top to bottom, answering some questions. I'm going to be going through some of the 8-scale talk once Brent gets that posted. He's also going to be posting my FCC 2-wheel drive carpet setup. There's been a lot of people that have messaged me about getting setup sheets out for 8-scale, 10-scale carpet, 8-scale e-buggy, nitro buggy. So we're going to be going through a couple at a time here. to get you guys started for the new year. This is basically the latest and greatest stuff that I've been running in my carpet cars and 8-scale cars. I have my 2-wheel drive, brand new 2-wheel drive car for dirt I just built up for the year, B6.4, which we will kind of talk into. I got it freshly built up, ready to rip. Got some obviously the new bling bling J Concept items, new blue screws. So we'll kind of go through that a little bit here in a little bit. So let's see what we got. We got some people joining in. For those who are just now tuning in, thank you so much. Thursday midday session. Don't forget to tag one of your buddies that might want to come back and watch us for their car setup help, new tech tips, setup advice, question answering, guru, whatever you want to say, and share it to your buddies and share it to your page if that's possible. It only helps out my channel and shares the love within the group. So let's see what we got here. Wow, got a lot of people tuning in. Doug Lavera's here, going to the Clash of Champions next week. It's my first event, actually, which we'll get into a little bit later. So that's what I've been doing, some prepping, building some new cars for the new year. Going to Hobby Action tomorrow to do some club racing. For those who are asking for like my Masters of Dirt setups, those are posted on my Facebook page. You have to scroll down about a couple, like a week's worth of post, 2 weeks worth of post probably, where I posted my 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive setup sheets with the latest and greatest off-road setup sheets there. So Mark's asking a good question here. What are the benefits of running a 2-gear versus 4-gear diff and carpet? Ultimately, the 4-gear has more friction. It'll have more drive lock. So if you're leaning more a little on power steering, usually less friction will allow the diff to slip, which can create more grip, but also more rotation. So recently, that's all I've been running is 2-gear stuff. And I've been wanting to try some 4-gear packages. I believe I'm running 2-gear 50,000. So that's been my go-to for 2-wheel drive. Charles and I have been working a little bit together on some 8-scale packages. He's been pretty happy with some of the stuff that he's found. We've kind of been commingling some setup advice, and pretty awesome to see some of the new technology for setup stuff's been working really good. I'm pretty excited for next year. And that was weird. Got a call on my computer. Okay. Let's see what else we got. That's a good question. Besides the Worlds, what races are you looking forward to the most? Obviously my favorite events are the J Concepts INSs. Those are hands down the best style events. The format and schedule is the best. You fly in or get there on a Thursday or Friday, practice, and race the 2-day race. Typically done a good reasonable hour on Sunday. Either go home Sunday night or fly back Monday morning or drive, depending on what you guys do. Those are my favorite events. Obviously, we have the Worlds. It's a one-off event. Luckily it's here in the United States. I'm pretty fortunate that it's in my backyard, and yeah, there's a lot of races before that happens. So try to take one race at a time. Make it meaningful at one race at a time, and yeah, that's all I can really say. So for the new Smoothie 2s, low profile truck tires, how many of the little ribs do you cut off the inside sidewall band to make it fit on the low profile tires? I believe it's 5 nubs or five ribs, roughly 4 or 5. You have to kind of experiment. Maybe to start with 4. I mean, as long as it kind of fits, you want to make sure it fits over the inner diameter bead. That's basically my way of going about, and that's something I can do a video on for you guys. I believe Hannah is actually traveling to the Clash of Champions, so maybe it's something that I can do a video there of how to mount the truck tires. People are loving the truck tires. It's been nice. A lot of good feedback. They fit really tight on the wheel. They last a lot longer, and they don't air gap, which is number one key. So this is a good question. How was the running at the dirt in Paris? To be honest, there was a lot of good things that came from it. I've definitely felt like I have a good handle on the kind of the different track conditions. Probably the best I've ever had. I felt the most comfortable walking on the driver's stand and just throwing down my car, most confident, knowing what the car was going to do. The track was pretty easy. It was pretty high speed. There wasn't that much bumps and stuff, but just knowing what the car was going to do and what it wasn't going to do, knowing the limits and stuff like that, I definitely feel like the handle was really good. Also, the different track conditions that we got to see daytime, middle of the day, sunset, cloudy skies. So definitely some setup orientations that kind of translated. There's definitely 2 different setups for the middle of the day and the nighttime running with like the roll centers. It definitely seems like when the track is holding a lot more moisture, it's a lot colder. The suspension and the roll centers aren't working the same rate as it would if it was a little bit hotter out and the track was a little bit harder, drier. So running in the nighttime stuff, I had to lower my roll centers, basically drop the hub height down. Along with that, I have my e-buggy right here. I hubs down in the link was basically the ultimate savior once the nighttime running came around. Just seemed like the rear helped a lot carve with the front end, and just a lot more plusher to drive. It didn't really seem like it had fake traction, if that makes sense. There's been a lot of different setup stuff going on with 8 scale. I feel like there's different style grip levels. The best way I can describe it is people that make their cars really stiff in the back. Sure, it's going to have a lot of, after you do a 180 and you come out of a corner, it has good straight line grip, but that's not typically the rule of thumb of how to actually make natural traction. What I've noticed, especially at this last layout in Paris, was the on power steering sections. And when I was my car wasn't set up right and I was turning on power, the rear would just kick out and the front would kind of overpower. That's because the rear end's actually skidding and not rolling and putting pressure on the loaded tire or the non-loaded tire, so it's just actually spinning out. But out of a corner 180 straight line, it actually wants to go straight. So it was nice. Richard was there. We did a lot of testing. There's people are running some different style hole options on our like B4 style car, drilling an extra third hole in the arm, running a super soft spring. But I did test that. I actually prefer just running the normal outside hole in the arm with the black spring, with axle height middle, or if when it goes nighttime, I run axle height down, but then I go up a spring rate and drop the rear link down. So that's kind of like rule of thumb. It's kind of in our playbook. It seems like that's the go-to. Obviously, I think when there's a little bit more bumps and character, there's going to be maybe some changes going on with how the front end and rear end is a little bit, but for the most part, I feel like it got a good handle. I ran Cosmos or Stalkers the entire time, so that was nice. So I'm reading some comments, not trying to leave everyone hanging here. Lee is in the house. Thanks, buddy. So back to the diff question. For diffs, high bite, high traction. I know been working with Danny Stockman on the diff stuff. I recommended him running and trying the LTC gears front and rear, HTC center. And he was concerned that maybe for high bite, the that diff package wouldn't work. And ultimately, he thought that it was really amazing and the best vehicle he's ever driven. So I still think HTC center, LTC front and rear, depending on the grip. I've been running on like outdoor medium bike track, medium low, like 15 front, 10 center, and 10 rear. If it is really grippy, I would maybe recommend running 20 to 30 in the front and 10 to 15 in the center. The rear diff is something that you'll have to play with. I don't really think that you need to go up any higher than 10 unless you need some more on power steering. But the front diff is typically what you want to go through first. Depending if you feel like you have a lot of steering, if it's oversteering, definitely go up in the front diff. I try to run the diff as low as possible without having edgy steering, if that makes sense. Or that's kind of the rule of thumb. You want basically the diff to be thick enough so you're on the verge of maybe having to like lower the dual rate a tab to make it smoother. Got a new racer getting back in the hobby right here. That's pretty cool. He's on my YouTube channel. Mm. Is your baseline set up for 8 scale neutral or have a lot of steering free on rotation? I actually had Richard Saxon drive my car at Paris, and he thought that the steering felt super smooth. He thought it had was able to use a lot of the wheel, but also didn't really feel like the rear end was going to swing around. Um, I know when I was driving it, I thought I definitely needed more steering, but in the back of my mind, I knew that, well, if the track has a lot of bumps, sharp edges, that this could be what I want. So I'm not sure. I think Brent's still kind of finalizing the setup sheet for 8 scale. There's still a couple things that I want to try to gain, just to feel some different kind of steering options, and maybe trying a little bit of a longer front link, running like middle height and length on the upper arm. I've been running my link all the way short, which is all the way out on the towers. Um, Also with the front end stuff, when the track does get really bumpy, we've had a little bit of some testing and tuning that I was able to kind of test at the U.S. Open here at Adobe Mountain, was to actually take off the top and lower caps, the blue caps, which is that's actually also like an additional spacer, about roughly 1 millimeter. And then you would still keep whatever shimming that you currently have, top and bottom, just leave, but take out the top and bottom blue cap and add a +1 front hex. The kit comes with zeros, so you're basically making the car narrower, pushing the steering knuckle in, but then you're running the +1 hex to bring the wheel back out, which changes a little bit of the where the kingpin sits in correlation to the center of the wheel. And under acceleration and deceleration, what that does, it adds a little bit more bind in the front end to keep the front end a little bit up higher, to have more chassis clearance for bumps and ruts. And that was a huge find for me to take over the win at the US Open a few weeks back, I believe. Beginning of December, I think, or maybe it was the end of or during Thanksgiving, actually, Thanksgiving weekend. So definitely give that a whirl for those who are looking for that. For me at the Paris track, given that it was kind of no bumps or not much character, it was super high speed. When the front end picked up, it kind of threw a lot of weight to the rear of the car, so the front tires were kind of didn't have much front grip, and I just thought it was just a little bit off for kind of the on power steering. But if you're in a rough track situation, that could be a huge find for you guys to pick up speed and comfort. I thought when I was driving through ruts, I was like able to just throw the car in so much harder, because when I decelerated, the front end would kind of stick a little bit higher and kind of carry through the corner. So, and you can also do that. You know, the pros about that is you don't have to run such a stiff spring or roll center. So the shock and suspension actually is moving, but it creates a different style of bind mechanically with the different offset front. So definitely try that. My first race for Nitro is SIC, and yes, I will be there. Always a blast. Freezing cold, but it's worth it. Yeah, Mayfield did just call me. I need to tell him doing a live session. What we got here is Nitro Racing in general a dying breed. I've been hearing a lot of people hating on the Nitro stuff as far as too loud, too expensive, the fumes give headaches, too much maintenance, I feel like Nitro Racing is at its all-time peak. People are doing it more than ever. The Nitro Racing is getting more popular. The cars are expensive, but so is everything else that involves racing or hobbies. So you don't get hurt driving the cars. Yeah, depending on any sort of gasoline vehicles, dirt bikes, quads, there's always a fume smell. So I disagree with everything that was said there. You'll have fun. It's a fun hobby. Um, there's also 10 scale racing if for electric if you're into not fumes, but you gotta pick your poison. Would I still run 2-gear setup if you had to run slicks and sauce on carpet? It just depends. Probably yes. You might want to adjust the oil a little bit down, maybe. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to turf burners. If it's next week, I will not be going. Next week, I'll be in Indiana, Louisville, or whatever for the Clash of Champions at Hoosier. Well, we have 114 people viewing. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please give this a like. It only helps my channel out. I appreciate you guys tuning in. It really makes a difference, and it's pretty cool that you guys are tuning in during the day, having done a long day of work. Not sure if you guys are working or prepping your RC cars for the weekend. I'm actually going out tomorrow, meeting up with Mayfield to do some club racing and hobby action. I got to go buy my Velocity sprint car because I'm going to get into that since hobby action is going to do some dirt oval here and there. So for those who are experts in the dirt oval sprint car stuff, don't be a stranger. Send some setups. Give me the insight. Lee is being a little weird. I thought you had a girlfriend, but maybe not. Not interested. Thank you, though. Talking about some 13 mil shocks for stadium truck. I am currently running 1.6 pistons in the front, 2 hole 1.6s, and 2 hole 1.8s in the back. I'm running the 2.5 millimeter pistons, 32 front and 30 rear. Is what I have. Would be the starting point. Got a question about, hey Spencer, I'm not sure if the topic goes tonight, but I'm wondering if AE has announced when the new SC will be released. That I do not know. I have no idea when or if that is going to happen. So here it is, boys and girls. For those who are on Facebook, go check out Brent's comment in the comments below. It is my DNC prep for the RC8 B4 setup. It has my latest and greatest running for the dirt in Paris. This is also what I ran at AMS. For the wet track conditions, I have the hubs down on the link, green springs, and then if you're on medium high bite tracks, I raise axle heights to middle and up on the link to middle on the tower. Black springs is the way to go. For those who are interested on getting a setup sheet for an outdoor track, this is the one to put on. You'll need to get the LTC gear set for the front and rear, and get some green rear springs, gray front springs, 6-hole pistons. Make it happen. So with the new Razor Wing, how many holes do you recommend running in the rear and what diameter? Also, how far back do you recommend mounting in the relation to the rear tower? So that's a good question. The Razor Wing has dimples on the back. I believe it's 2. I don't really have one around here, but I utilize all the dimple holes. So I believe it's 2, 4, 6, if that sounds right. And I do about 10 to 12 millimeters in hole size diameter. And then as far as mounting position, for those who are accustomed to using the F2I wing, which is the J Concepts one that he currently has offered, whatever hole position that you ran with that one on the spacing, I would do the same for the Razor. It's all basically symmetrical on the mounting spots. So what I've done on the mounting spots, I do from the back of the wing, there's like lines, like basically a grid. I do 3 over from the outside, 3 over from the outside, and then 3 down. And then we'll do some more. This for 2023, I will say my goal is to do 2 J Concepts YouTube videos per event that I travel to that that J Concepts is attending. So I typically do 1 for J Concepts and then 1 for myself. My personal page, Hannah has been the absolute mastermind behind it all. So that's my goal. Next week, the Clash of Champions, gonna bust out a video for J Concepts, probably do the stadium truck tires, and then I'm gonna do a separate video for myself. And then the INET or the SIC Nitro race, I plan on doing a JC video and then a video also for myself. So please don't hesitate to maybe do any sort of suggestions on video topics that I should do for the year, but that is my goal. What's up, Chris? So yeah, for the most part, for the different track conditions, this is what I was just talking about. Yeah, if there is a 15-degree temperature change, plus or minus, I typically do about for every 10 degrees, it's roughly around 2.5 weight difference is what. Actually, I take that back. 20 degrees is about 2.5 weight difference, 2.5 to 5 weight. So at the dirt in Paris, it was 55 degrees at night, and I ran, I think 32 front, 35 rear, and then I said in the comments in my setup sheet that if it was hotter, I would go up 5 weight. In the UK, we tend not to run the front roll bar on the B6. Do you ever not run them? Yeah, so this is something recently. I mean, I know the UK Tommy Hall was out here and for the FCC race, and he had a really good setup going in his car. I think it's just a little bit different depending on kind of how much front grip that you have. I think that it's not really a right or wrong thing. It's just setup packages mostly. Hi, Spencer. Are you running the HTC front and rear and center or just in the four-wheel drive? I know Dustin has been liking that. So, yeah, this is a big topic for like our B74 style cars. I know from the testing that we did and from what our competitors and everything that we've looked at and tested, I know that the LTC gears all the way around the car is like, in my opinion, the most grip that you can possibly have. But for stock racing, with the the LTC gears that come with the car, the center, there is more slip, a slightly more slip feel. And I know one of the big things to my team associated or the team associated race that we had at trackside this year was there was a big triple coming out of a corner, and it was super difficult for me to make. And I have plenty of power motor and everything, but I can just feel that the car's slipping and not pulling up the face of the jump. So I actually ended up changing my center diff to the HTC gear set for the center only, and instantly fixed my out of a corner rip and punch up a jump. So I've been recommending people in the 13.5 class, probably a no-brainer to run HTC center diff. And I believe, and I'm a big believer, I've had really good results since I've been running the LTC gears in the vehicle. For the most part, if there isn't a jump out of a corner or anything, for modified, I'm running LTC gears all the way around. And then also for stock, depending on how much jumps, how big the jumps are, and if you need a little bit more reach on a jump, switching from LTC to HTC will definitely do that. So I'm running 15 front, 15 rear, and 500 center. That was my latest forward drive package setup. So Tony here. Hey, Spencer, I'm a new racer, just over a year. I'm going to SIC and we'll be running a B3.2. What diff setup do you recommend starting with? I would probably recommend starting with 10, 7, or excuse me, 10, 8.5, which is 10 and 7 mix, and 6 in the rear. It's probably what I would run. Or you can say you can also do 7, 10, 6 is another one. It just depends. If you need a little bit more steering, start with 7. And then also depending on how much off power steering, if you feel like you are driving and you go off power and you turn the wheel and the rear end washes out, that's probably the center diff being too thin. So I would keep an eye on that. Also, too, talking about some more setups that were being posted. Brent also highlighted in the comments my B74 latest and greatest setup from Hobby Action INS. That will give you some more insight on the latest and greatest setup we've been running. I was able to get the TQ and win in both two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive classes. Definitely a lot of positive to be made and gains from the four-wheel drive package. I know, again, from a grip level perspective, you'll see on that setup sheet that I have axle height 2 in the rear and down on the rear link. If you are running in the Midwest and it's cold, it's wet, I would recommend running the link, the rear camber link in the middle height position, just to get a little bit more roll. The grip out west is so much different than it is out east, or in north, whatever. It's just the grip is just so much different. Even going from actually hobby action to SDRC, that was one of the biggest things that I did. I just simply the rear end was just skidding and not gripping, and I just raised the rear link to middle. Or you can go drop the axle height to 1 in the rear instead of 2. Both are doing the same thing, but just differently. The axle height is a much bigger change than the camber link position. So B74.2 setup. Boom. Brent Thelke getting it done. Yeah, so going back to what Charles said, obviously Charles races out here in the West Coast, Arizona mainly. And the setup changes that he said are talking about the sorry, I'm messaging Brent. He's had a boo-boo error on my setup sheet that he's posting for my two-wheel drive from Hobby Action or FCC. The caps, taking the caps off the 8 scale, keeping the front end up. No caps, top and bottom, +1 hex. Boom. Take them off. Al Horns in the house. What's going on, boss? So, yeah, we just posted in the comments. Go on my Facebook page. They're also going to be posted on the Team Associated site as well. Brent just posted the B74 one from Hobby Action Finals. So give it a whirl there. What is my ride height on average on buggy at race time events, say for the first qual in the main? For Nitro buggy, I would say, well, recently I've been running like 22 in the front and roughly 25 or 26 in the rear. For me, especially for those kind of tracks, it just seals to the dirt so much better. That's been basically what I've been running. I am not going to the Chili Bowl. I'm not that factory yet. I'm going to do a full year of testing before we do that. But I know Mayfield and I could do a trip. You never know. But no, that's actually during SIC Nitro event. So I believe Jason Rona is going to Chili Bowl, and then the A team is going to SIC. Yeah, that's a good one. Like we could bring it to Hoosier and play it there. So talking about some E-truggy, I actually just built my E-truggy, and it's right here. There are a couple of things that I'm not an expert with the E-truggy yet, but I know that the kit comes with different battery trays than what I'm about to show you. I'm not running the long battery packs, the long saddle battery packs. I'm running the 2-cell shorty 6400s. So that I am running the short packs, the shorter ones, but I'm running them all the way back. So I'm still working on finishing this. Got my Hobbywing XR8 Pro, XR8 Plus, sorry. Savox 2290 servo. And then I got the 2250 truggy motor. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. It was a good build. I don't know when I'm going to be racing it or running it. I just want to get one built, put it on the shelf, make it look good. Probably going to be racing it actually at DNC. Maybe some race time events. I'm not 100% sure, but for sure DNC and Silver State, those events are just so long, and it's just more track time. So yeah, got that done. You guys should get one. I'm still waiting. Gonna put the carbon plates in. I know. Haven't done that yet. I did install the Factor Team aluminum balls. E-truggy's heavy. I don't run any much down travel limiters. The only up travel limiters is what I've been utilizing for the shock stuff. Hopefully you guys are having a good New Year's. Hope to have a good New Year's. I know a lot of people are excited for the new year. I got some exciting news to announce at the beginning of the year. I'm looking forward to getting out there and having some fun. Also, too, for those who are tuning in, Brent just released my two-wheel drive Florida carpet setup, 3rd place, back-to-back years, slowly creeping up. So for those who want to check out the newest, latest, and greatest two-wheel drive setup, one of the biggest changes that I probably have done the last 2 carpet races is I've been running the dirt chassis, which is the Zero chassis. It's the shorter one. I don't really think that there is any disadvantage running the longer one. I just think for whatever reason the short chassis has been given me some more confidence in driving the car a little bit harder, especially in the quick 180 section stuff. The tracks here are just a little bit tighter and smaller than the tracks that we normally race, or the tracks that most of the world race on carpet, which is like more sweeping on power steering, which the Florida Carpet Championship is one of our biggest tracks. But then again, I still thought that the short car was preferred there. And yeah, so check it out. Got some 3 or 4 setup sheets that were just posted from Brent in the comments below. They're also going to be posted on the Team Associated page, or go check out Cars and Trucks. Click on the model that you want to check out and find the setup sheets. We got the Dirt DNC Prep B74 for hobby action, And I got the Florida Carpet Champs, two-wheel drive, hobby action. So Hobby Wing, the XR8 Pro, that was the first one. Our new one is called XR8 Plus G2. I don't have the box with me, but it's in my E-truggy. It has the aluminum fan style like the 10 scales, so the fans don't break. It's definitely more efficient on cooling down the ESC as well. Anyhow, guys, yeah, that's pretty much all I had. We went through a lot of 8-scale talk, some carpet stuff. My brand new dirt 2-wheel drive car for the beginning of the year. Got the thing decked out with the J Concepts turnbuckle screws. Got the factory team ball stud mount, motor plate. What else we got? Got the carbon parts. I have my whole 2-wheel drive is all carboned out. Carbon side rails, carbon top deck, carbon ball stud mount, carbon front arms, carbon rear arms. So this is my shelf body. I got some brand new bodies that Paul helped cut out. F2 body, 4-wheel drive F2. I get hooked up. J Concepts. Pavitas is asking where's the new paint. Larry is still working on it. We were talking about it today. Looking forward to seeing what happens with that. Might be changing up the paint scheme for 8-scale, but I can't figure out what I want. So gonna ask Larry to just show me the way. Jeff, thanks, man. I appreciate you always being a fan of the crew. Always looking forward to seeing you at the race and having some fun. So what else we got here? So searching for some traction on the B74.1 on Smoothie 2's cold track. Any idea? I would have to know what kind of rear end package you're running, but I would be probably running axle height 1 in the rear with the link down on the tower is where I would start for the roll center in the rear. Also, if you need more traction, I know the Australian crew that came out here and did some club racing and racing at SDRC and Hobby Action, they added more rear toe, which I drove their cars and it was so awesome to drive. So I am also going to be trying some more rear toe. That's probably where I would start. Yep, I am going to be heading to Indiana next week. Looking forward to getting some racing done. The layout looks incredible. Probably one of the biggest tracks we have here in America. Gonna be fun. Had a good Christmas. Looking forward to seeing some buddies and friends for New Year's. Gonna club race next week, or excuse me, this weekend, Friday, tomorrow. Do some cookouts with Mayfield and Jackson and Tanner and the crew. Should be pretty fun. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. Put in the comments where you're going to be racing at this weekend or next weekend. Put also in any suggestions for some video ideas for this coming year. Going to try to do some more videos for you guys. Jeff Brown tuning in. Thanks, man. Jeff's always hooked me up with SXT sauce. That's what I actually used at the Team Associated race. I used the, I believe he calls it, it's the orange dot. So Baja Max is what we were using. And then we kind of switched over to the slime sauce SXT version. Yeah, the tire sauce. I've been liking all the stuff in the Midwest. I've been really liking the SXT sauce. I also use the TDK sauce. That stuff. Those are my two go-tos. I believe last year, if I remember correctly, I used the Baja sauce, which I need to check if I need to get some more. Yeah, I'll have to double check my sauce inventory, but for the most part, yeah. Next year, SXT sauce, TDK, those are the two sauces that I'd mainly use for the J Concept Silvers. And we got Andrew tuning in. We were just talking about you, boss, with your dialed setups. For those who don't know Andrew, he is from Australia. They race out there with the Ray Mondays and super technical. Love figuring out car setups. Great drivers. He also came out for their 3 or 4 week trip of racing here in the U.S. I'm not sure if their setups got posted on the Team Associated site, but definitely check out their setups that he and Jared ran out here. I thought they were really good, especially for like the 17.5 style cars. So gonna be wrapping things up here. And looking forward to seeing everyone for the new year. Have some fun. Be safe. Thanks again for all you guys tuning in. We had over 100 viewers today. You guys are the real fans here. I appreciate you guys always showing love and support. Again, thanks. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and enjoy. See you guys on the next one.